This hot dog slicing gadget really is hilarious. Just lay in your sausage and fold over the blades again to close it. As you push down, it slices through the sausage, and you get these itty-bitty bits of hot dog. Because the blade comes down at an angle, it doesn't cut them evenly. Some are better than others. You can see the issue when I line it up with this one. It cuts through in a bit of an arc, but it has got to be one of my favourite gadgets to use. It's so satisfying. And I'm using these bits for a pizza topping. This gadget is actually called a dog dicer. As well as using it for hot dogs, it says it's also great for slicing grapes and cooked carrots. But I'm going to try it with this banana. I have to kind of push it down in there a bit, but it's nice and soft, and yeah, it cuts through really well. That's pretty good. And if I try it with a line of grapes, you can see it does those well too. Have you ever seen one of these? This is actually for removing the kernels from corn on the cob. You just line it up with the centre, then push it through while twisting the tool. As it goes through, it cuts the kernels clean off the cob. Once you're halfway, you can turn it round and pull it through from the other side. And wow, that's worked really well. What a great gadget. It's removed all of those really well. This part's nice and clean, and these look beautiful and undamaged. Let's take a look at this smashy egg press. It's an orange handle with a hinged press plate that pushes down into this cup. The same sort of thing as a garlic press. To try it out, I'm peeling this egg, then dropping it inside, and I'm going to mash it into this bowl. Give it a squeeze, and out comes the egg. Oh, look at that. I'm doing another one. That is satisfying. Cut the strands off at the end, and you've got this amazing bowl full of shredded egg. I'm going to use it for making an egg mayonnaise sandwich filling. I'm also going to try out one of these potato rices. It's the same sort of principle, but we place a boiled potato inside, line up the plunger, and give it a squeeze. And we squeeze out this riced mashed potato. There's pretty good leverage, so it's not too difficult to squeeze. And it's a nice alternative way to serve potato. I'm adding a slice of butter, some herbs, and salt and pepper. If you're enjoying this video, please do consider subscribing and giving it a like. Now let's take a look at this cutting gadget. It's like a large pair of tongs with combs at the end. The idea is we hold something like a lemon in it, then use a knife to cut down in between the prongs. And it should give us lovely even slices. Looking at the bottom, you can see we've cut all the way through, so let's see what we've got. Well, yeah, that's actually worked really well. Perfectly even slices of lemon. Pretty cool, huh? I'll test it with this tomato. It keeps your fingers nicely away from the blade, and it does work well, but you do need to be careful not to blunten your knife. Next I'm going to look at this crinkle cut chip cutter. You just take a peeled potato and push it down through. Wow, look at that! The cuts are so neat you can even piece it back together. I'm cutting them the other way too to make these really cool crinkled cut chips. I'd say this gadget is easy to use, and it definitely works really well. You can even get larger ones like this, which you may find more comfortable to hold. And because the blade's longer, you can use it for larger potatoes. I did notice though, the blade on this one is less crinkled, so it gives you less pronounced ridges. But they're really cool gadgets. I use mine a lot. Now check this out. Have you ever seen one of these before? It's got a holder at the bottom and a cutting blade at the top, which pushes down through the holder, and it's actually designed for cutting a hard-boiled egg into segments. The idea is we place an egg into the holder, like this, and squeeze down the cutter. Oh, it cuts through really easily. Let's take a look. When we open up the egg, it's cut it into these 6 nice little segments. They're not all exactly the same size because of the angle the cutting blade goes through. But they are really neat, it works well. I also really like using this gadget. It's got a cup on one end with a sort of spring-loaded hammer on the back. We use it by putting it on top of an egg, pull back the hammer, and give it a bash. And it cuts a perfectly round hole in the top of the eggshell. This makes it easy to separate the egg white from the yolk. Next I'm going to try out this kiwi gadget. To use it, we cut a kiwi in half. Then we take it and push it down into the fruit, like this. Once you've reached the bottom, give it a turn. Then you should be able to remove the fruit from the skin. My first attempt didn't really work very well. I don't think I turned it enough. So I'll try again on the other half. Push it down through, and this time I'm turning it quite a lot. And yeah, it actually worked really well. It completely removed all the fruit. We get these neatly cut pieces. Now I want to show you a really cool watermelon gadget. I'm slicing this watermelon into segments, then I'm using this tool to safely cut in between the fruit and the skin. You need to sort of rotate it to match the angle of the skin as you cut through. But yeah, it's really easy, and when we remove the fruit... Wow, look at that, it's really cleaned it out well. That's impressive. What I like is it's really safe to use, and if you find there is any left behind, you can just remove it with a second pass. Now we're going to take a look at this gadget. This is another one of my favourites. It's got this crossed blade at the bottom, and a plunger inside which pushes down from the top. It's designed to cut small tomatoes or grapes into quarters. The first couple of tomatoes I tried weren't really very successful. They may have been slightly too big. But when I got into the knack of it, it does work really well. What a great little gadget! And for grapes too. Next I want to show you this really cool potato masher. It's like this conical spring design, and it comes with a built-on silicone scraper. To use it, you just place it over your boiled potato and push it down. It just squeezes it through. With one push, you get instant mashed potato. It's really easy to use, and it works really well. I also used it to make guacamole out of these avocados. They are a bit slippery, but it did mash them well. Give it a tap on the side to clean it off. Then I'm using the inbuilt silicone scraper to clean out the bowl. It's a really cool gadget, I really like it. What a cool design. Next I want to show you this thing. It's a series of levers and hinges which operate this plunger, then opens the drawer at the top. And it's actually designed for cracking open eggs. Place your egg in here, hold it over a bowl and give it a go. Wow, yeah, that worked really well. The plunger pushes the egg forward onto a couple of points, which break into the shell and pulls the egg apart. And if we look down into the bowl, there is no broken eggshell. I tried it with a few more eggs, and without fail, every time it worked really well. Have you ever seen a tin opener like this? It's a really funky design. It works using this big ratchet lever on top. To use it, we slide open the handle to open the mechanism, and it's got these little metal pliers on the side. We'll be using these to lift off the lid. And there's also this little hook on the other side, which I'll show you more of later. To use it, we line up the can with this arrow, then push the handles back together to grip the can firmly. Then use your other hand to ratchet the lever back and forth, and the can starts turning underneath. You can easily use this opener whether you're left or right-handed, and once you've gone all the way around, you can feel the resistance change. So remove the opener, and you can now use the small pliers to lift off the lid. Look at that, it's worked really well. And what's really cool is it leaves no sharp edges on the can, or on the lid. And this hook on the side is to help you opening cans with a ring pull if you struggle with your fingers. Just slide it underneath and hook it through. Then roll back the opener. And it peels back the lid. What a cool gadget. Next I want to show you this thing. It's actually a garlic chopper. The plastic casing opens up, and you can see there's blades that spin inside. You can slide the whole assembly out of the case to make it easier to clean, and you can also see how it works. Turning these wheels spin the gears, which turn these blades. There's a fixed comb at the bottom, and anything trapped in there will get cut into bits. To use it, slide it back into the casing, place a clove of garlic inside, and close the doors. Roll it back and forth over the worktop, and it only takes a few seconds to completely slice it up. That's really cool. To empty it out, turn it upside down and tap it a few times. Then open the doors. I'm going to try it again, but this time I'm going to use 3 cloves. Let's see how well it handles it. I gave it a good roll back and forward. Then I emptied it out. And it really has shredded it well. I'm impressed. Next I'm going to look at this, a cool little garlic press. First of all, the top opens up, and we have this cutting deck here, which we can also remove for cleaning. In the top there's a press for squeezing the garlic through the blades, and there's a removable plate for cleaning out any stuck garlic. The idea is it chops the garlic and pushes it down through into the drawer for easy collection. So let's try it out. I placed on a clove, then firmly pushed down on the top. and it appears to be stuck in the blades. But when I lift it up and close it again, most of it fell down into the drawer. So I removed the cleaning plate, and I did find there was quite a lot of garlic squished in here. It had actually made a cool little lattice. I tried it again with another couple of cloves, and it did seem to work pretty well. Remove the drawer and take a look, and that's perfect for cooking with. Now here's another garlic gadget. It's called a garlic press, and it's far more simplistic. It's just this nice stainless steel hand press. It comes with this little brush for cleaning, and this silicone tube for peeling. To use it, just push a clove inside, place your hand on top and roll it back and forth. After a few seconds you can empty it out, and you should find the clove is completely peeled. Pretty cool, huh? So let's try out the press. It feels very strong and good quality. The idea is we just roll it over the top while pressing down. I did find I needed to use quite a lot of force, but finally it did all press through. And take a closer look, and you can see it's really crushed it nicely. Next I'm going to show you this electric potato peeler. It's really cool. We just lift up this top spike, place a potato onto these spikes at the bottom, then lower down the top spike into the potato. Lift up the cutting arm up to the top, then turn it on. It rotates the potato while the cutting arm slowly works its way down from the top to the bottom, while all the time moving in and out to follow the contour of the potato. And when it gets to the bottom, it even turns itself off. Pretty cool, huh? Then you can just remove the potato and place on the next one, ready for peeling. It really does save a lot of time, but you may have noticed it leaves a little bit of skin on the top and the bottom. So if you want, you can of course remove this with a hand peeler. I think it's a great gadget, and for cleaning you can easily remove the cutting blade to give it a wash. Next I want to show you this French fry cutter. You pull back this lever at the top to open it up, place in your potato, move it up to the cutting blades, then with a bit of force, squeeze it through. And there we go, we've got these perfectly square, nice cut French fries. It makes it so easy, and the long handle really helps with the leverage. It's taken no time at all to cut these 3 potatoes into beautiful uniform French fries. Next we're going to have a look at this gadget. It's got 10 little serrated blades, and as you can probably tell from the handle, it's designed for slicing tomatoes. It does feel slightly awkward to use because you have to hold the tomato from underneath while you use the tool on top, a bit like a saw. It does seem to be working. Then you need to swap your hand over to the top and carry on with the cutting. When you're all the way through, this is what we've got. And there, it's worked really well. And with a bit of practice, it's easy enough to use. Next I'm going to take a look at this automatic hands-free can opener. Take it out of the packaging, and you can see it is quite a large opener compared to an ordinary one. But I guess there's a motor and all sorts of other electronics inside. Slide open the cover and it takes 4 AA batteries. And now when I press the on button, you can see it working. To use it, we just sit it on top of our food tin, make sure the rim is in between the mechanism, then press the on button. It starts cutting and automatically turns itself all the way around the can. How cool is that? Once it's gone all the way around, turn it off, then put it to one side, and we can lift off the lid. And again, it leaves no sharp edges. Next I'm going to try out this Any Sharp sharpener. They claim it's the world's best knife sharpener, so let's take a look. It does feel really well built. It's got this lever on the top which activates the sucker cup on the base. The idea is we put it down on the work surface, then suction it down to hold it firmly in place while we use it. I'm going to be sharpening this knife. But firstly, let's do a paper cutting test, so I can show you just how blunt it is. Rather than cutting the paper, it just tears it. This knife hasn't been sharpened for years, so let's try out the sharpener. So apparently, all I have to do is sit the blade in the metal sharpening groove and draw it backwards, like this. Do it 3 or 4 times, and that's all there is to it. You can actually see steel filings here, where it's ground down the blade to sharpen it. So let's see how well it cuts paper now. Well, yeah, it's actually done pretty well. You can see it's cut the paper, rather than just tearing it. And using it to chop up this onion, I can tell it really is so much sharper than before. This AnySharp does seem to be a really good product. It's so simple, I really like it, and I'm going to use it to sharpen all my knives. If you want to buy any of the gadgets featured in this video, there's a link in the description below. Now we're going to try out this banana slicing gadget. You put a banana in, and it's got these 6 blades which slice it up. So let's give it a go. Well, banana is really soft, and it cuts through it easily. It gives us these nice even slices, and it's really fun to use. I reckon it's quite good for adding some banana slices to your breakfast cereal. But let's see how easy it is to wash. Well, with a scrubbing brush and some soapy water, it's actually really easy. It's a funny little gadget. I mean, you could just use a knife, but I do like it. The next one we're going to look at are these scissors, which are multi-blade. There's 5 pairs of blades, so if you're cutting up things like herbs with scissors, these should make it 5 times quicker. These chives seem to get a bit caught up in the blades, but as I cut more, it pushes them through. And yeah, to be honest, it cut all of these up really well. And it didn't take long. And again, cleaning the blades out with a scrubbing brush will be really straightforward. I like these scissors, they seem really well made and robust. Now let's take a look at this thing. Any ideas what it is? Well, it's actually an orange skin cutting tool. The idea is you wear it on your finger, a bit like a ring, and this little tooth that sticks out should be just deep enough to cut through the peel. So let's give it a go. It fits the curvature of the fruit well, and it feels like it's working. You can see it's cut a line all the way around. I'll cut through it the other way now, and then try peeling it. I guess it's a safe way for a child to peel an orange, so they're not handling a knife. And yeah, it's cut through the skin enough to be able to peel it. For the next one, we're going to try this really cool-looking screw-in squirter gadget. It's designed to spray out fresh lemon juice. And the idea is, we chop the end off a lemon, like this, then screw in the gadget. You can see it's got perforated holes to filter the juice into the squirter. Once it's screwed in, just give it a couple of pumps, and we've got amazing fresh lemon juice. Pretty cool, huh? Now let's take a look at this soda pump fizz keeper. Apparently it fits a standard sized bottle, and it keeps the fizz in your soda. So let's remove it from the packaging and try it out. If we take a closer look, it's got this large bulb at the top, and a sort of bottle top at the bottom with a rubber seal, and a hole in the middle. When I give the bulb a couple of pumps, I can feel air blowing out of the hole. It's also got a catch, and it opens up like this. So the idea is, if you're opening up a bottle of fizzy drink, pouring yourself a glass, but keeping some for later, you can screw on the fizz keeper instead of the standard bottle top. Then pump the bulb a few times, which will blow air inside and actually pressurise the bottle a bit. This should help to prevent the loss of CO2 bubbles in your drink as you store it. You can see I firmed up the bottle, and when you want to pour some more, you can just open up the catch, fold it over, and pour yourself another drink. It really is a clever design. And you can now store your drink for a lot longer without losing the fizz. Pretty cool, huh? The next thing we're going to look at is this steamship pan cover. It's a flat disc of silicone with a moulded-on steamship with 3 funnels. The idea is to sit it on top of a pan when cooking, and it acts a bit like a lid. It allows steam to escape through the funnels, which should help to stop the pan boiling over. It looks really cool, but it keeps enough steam inside the pan to help with the cooking. It can be used in a microwave because there is no metal, and you can use it to just cover over a bowl of food to keep it fresh. Have you ever seen one of these? It's designed to help remove limescale from the nozzle of your tap. And what you do is pour a descaling agent into the bulb, like this. I'm just using vinegar. Then hook it over your tap, and pull the bulb over the nozzle, like this. Leave it on to soak for an hour or so. Then carefully remove it. Run the tap, and give it a clean off. And if you do suffer from limescale build-up, this should help keep it at bay. If you want to see some really cool food life hacks and recipe ideas, you can click on the links. Have fun, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.